You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Folks, Smirnoff. I love it. Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. It's a we thing. Best enjoyed with good drinks and great company. Home or away, we rally together, cry together, and always rally cry together because there's no I in fandom. Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka, is perfect for easy, delicious cocktails for fans over 21. As the official vodka partner of the NFL, Smirnoff's award-winning taste has been igniting the collective spirit since 1864. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, #21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
If you're a facilities manager at a warehouse and your HVAC system goes down, it can turn up the heat, literally. But don't sweat it, Grainger has you covered. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products for all your operations, including warehouse HVAC maintenance. And even better, they offer access to experts and fast delivery, so you and your warehouse can both keep your cool. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
As football approaches here, Stugotz, and as everything runs through Kansas City, because that was the most diminished Kansas City offense that we have seen during this run, the least trusted offense, and that's at least in part because once they paid Mahomes, they couldn't pay Tyreek Hill anymore, and so the option becomes ground Travis Kelce into total dust and win the championship several years and have what is the team everyone must go through during a time where we're obsessed with systems, and the poster child for system now, I don't even think it's McVay. I think it's Kyle Shanahan, even though it hasn't had the ultimate success, at least in part because it keeps running into Mahomes. They've had value at quarterback. It's the greatest advantage you can have. Have a great quarterback cheap, and you can have a bunch of talent. Kansas City already took advantage of it, and now San Francisco tries to, but they can't afford Ayuk. You can't pay everyone. You can't have Trent Williams and George Kittle and Ayuk and Samuel and a quarterback at $900,000 a year. The only reason you can have those guys, everything like that, is because you've had the quarterback cheap for a couple of years. And now Ayuk is available, and I have a hard time with the new can you please, Greg, turn off your phone? That's $10 in fines for you. You don't know how to silence your phone, and you don't know how to turn it off.
You owe 20, he owes 10, you still owe 10.
I'm not paying that.
Silent.
I'm not
Let's
paying.
just round it up to 50.
Yeah,
I don't know how to turn it off.
He's going to grab your phone and throw it. That's what he's going to do. Yep.
Can you throw it with your toe?
Oh, wow.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? Greg, do you have Venmo? No, of course you don't have Venmo.
No.
I was going to say you should Venmo the money with your toe. Never mind.
Do you know what Venmo is? I mean,
Zelle, Venmo.
I love Venmo. By the way, Jessica Steven, American, finished 11th with a score of 53.170, so she did not advance to the final. We'll get back to that
Dan,
later.
you sold their talent short. They got McCaffrey, Samuel, Bosa. They're overwhelming.
I forgot McCaffrey.
Yeah, overwhelming talent over there.
Funny.
Yes. Yeah, he got more money this offseason.
Yes,
too.
and so the point being, right, that you can't. We are really spending, not just we, but everybody is spending a lot of money counting the dollars in the salary cap age, and it's a bit of an overwhelming advantage San Francisco has had here for several years because they've got all of these players that you can name at all of the important positions. Like star power.
Yeah. Well, they have the player at the most important position. He's good. He's good enough to get them to a Super Bowl in Brock Purdy. They still have him on that rookie contract for another 2 seasons after this year. But you're right. You can't pay everyone. I think the interesting part of this with Ayuk is, what does he do? Because he has a no-trade clause. He could say no to any of these deals that are being proposed and being reported about right now. He's going to make just over $14 million this year if he stays with San Francisco. I'd stay there as opposed to some of the rumored teams that are trying to get him right now.
All my life, we'll get to the rumored teams because it's Pittsburgh, it's Cleveland. I thought he was going to the Patriots. I can't remember the Patriots had a number one receiver who looked like that. That's not something. Is it Randy Moss the last time that they had a guy that is regarded as a number one? But the thing that I wanted to ask all of you about that team is, if I have trouble all the time separating how good the quarterback is from the system and from his skill players, would I not also have some of these problems if I'm forgetting McCaffrey? And Ayuk is on a team where I think all of us would regard him as, on offense, the fifth most important player. I think Kittle might be. I think we'd all might regard four guys. I mean, he can be sixth if I'm putting Trent Williams in there.
He had 105 catches last year for 1,350 yards.
He's great, Stugotz. I'm not saying he's not great. What I'm asking,
game breaking, like he's certainly fit, but I think he's wide receiver one there. I mean, how soon do we forget that amazing catch, a lucky catch, but an amazing catch in the NFC Championship game? He really established himself as like their most consistent wide receiver.
He's wide receiver one, but he's weapon number 5. Like in terms of everything that you're game planning for,
right?
And because of I'm not sure when I look at the overwhelming amount of talent at that team. Stugotz, that offense doesn't look the same when Trent Williams isn't in the game.
No.
Like it looks totally different if you just take their left tackle out of the game. And I don't mean this as a diminishment of Brandon Ayuk. I'm simply telling you that without looking at the metrics and unable to separate that web of talent, if I started drafting players from the 49ers and told you, you got to lose one of the 6, it's either him or Debo that you're choosing to get out of there, right?
It's him or Debo. Yeah, probably Debo for me.
I would probably move on from Debo just because Debo's age, the fact that he battles through some injuries. There's quite a bit of drop-off. If they're just losing Ayuk for nothing, you're really asking a lot for Jennings to step up. I don't know necessarily about this move. Now, it seems as though what's happening publicly, which is, to me, just as fascinating as a decision that they have to make, is it kind of feels while you felt like he was going to New England, the recent traction, certainly in parts of Pittsburgh, where they were getting him. And if you see the recent reports, only the Browns and the Patriots have met the asking price. As Adam Schefter outlined, this is a little bit more complicated because not only do you have to meet the Niners' asking price, but also Brandon Ayuk's asking price, too. The Patriots are willing to do that. Browns a little less so because they have a money situation. All of this kind of feels like a public posturing to squeeze more out of Pittsburgh, personally.
Your assessment, Dookie, as the king of God Bless Football, and you, this is obviously a number one wide receiver being available when the market has now told us that this league that is salary capped and everyone's fighting for value. Everyone's telling you, number one wide receiver, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that more than you've been paying. Now there's one available. Yeah.
People have a difficulty like welcoming Brandon Ayuk to that conversation.
It's weird
because they don't think he's the most valuable receiver, as you've outlined, and it's a right take. Like weapon number 5, they still rank Samuel ahead of him. But if you look at the stats and also big-time moments, like he was their go-to guy. Ayuk is ascending, while some of those other weapons, you could argue McCaffrey, best days maybe behind him if you look at the lifespan of running backs. Samuel, same thing. Kittle, same thing. Ayuk's one of the weapons that they have that is actually ascending.
I don't think a lot of people think of Ayuk as elite on that level. He's not Tyreek Hill. He's not Justin Jefferson. I think I might rather have CeeDee Lamb. You know, he's a great receiver on a team loaded with talent, but yet all that talent coupled with a very affordable quarterback hasn't won a Super Bowl.
He has 223 catches the last 2 years.
Okay. I would just caution you. I would just caution you on hasn't won a Super Bowl as the bottom line when they've been to 2 and been a play away on both of them. It doesn't mean that they're not good enough to win the Super Bowl.
It doesn't mean he's not good enough. I mean, maybe Purdy.
Saying they haven't won the Super Bowl, you cannot diminish a person's talent on that team because they've been a play 2 years in a row, or
Yeah.
2 years of the last 3 from winning the Super Bowl.
And if the 49ers and the fan base are very satisfied with coming close twice, bully for them. The thing about sports is that it tends to be a bottom line, and if you're paying all that money, if you have all those stars, you have to win a Super Bowl. And I think the Miami Dolphins, they also are spending a lot of money on offensive star power. They haven't won a playoff game.
Not
in
nearly
23
as
years.
close. Not nearly.
Okay.
Summer's the best time to run the way you want. Dial it up with new challenges and programs and bring your workouts with you to make the most of outside sunny days. There's no better way to do that than with Peloton. With Peloton, take advantage of how beautiful it is outside right now. You can go on an outdoor run or even a walk if you're not feeling like running, all while working on your tan. Summer's the best time to push your pace. Move how you want, enhance your fitness journey, and feel like your most empowered self. Whether you're prepping for a marathon or improving your pace, whatever road lies ahead, your training starts here with Peloton Tread or Tread Plus. Peloton's programs and instructors take you to new heights. Tap into their expertly programmed workouts and real-time metrics like pace targets that can take your fitness journey to new heights. From their strength classes designed for runners on the Peloton Tread or Tread Plus to guided outdoor runs on the Peloton app, Peloton's classes challenge you to be your best. Call yourself a runner with Peloton at onepeloton.com/running.
Dan Le Batard.
Quiet man.
Yes.
I'm a married man. I don't cheat on my wife, despite that gratuitous line back in my day.
Stugotz.
I wish you were here, my wife. I really miss her. No, I don't. That's the thing about being married. You're not allowed to say, I don't miss my wife. I've been gone 2 days. I haven't been gone long enough to miss my wife. I'm sorry. I call her. I'm on the phone with her for 30 seconds. What am I? Hello. All right, we'll see ya. All right. And then, I'm going to see her in 2 days. How's Jumpin' Charlie? Good.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
So we have some huge breaking news from Pete Thamel of ESPN coming out of University Park, Florida. International recording artist Pitbull is purchasing the naming rights to FIU's football stadium. He's expected to pay the school $1.2 million per year for the next 5 years to change the name of FIU Stadium to Pitbull Stadium.
Oh, my
per
God.
FIU
That
board
is
documents.
Great. Well done.
Armando Stadium,
The Pit.
ladies and
Pause
gentlemen.
up.
Yes, the Pit. No bull. No bull at the Pit.
Goes
Yes.
from the cage to the pit.
Yeah, it was the cage. Now what do we do?
Dalé.
here?
All right.
Incredible.
God. I think I just became an FIU fan.
Pause up, I think, around the world
Pause
right now.
up. Both
Yeah.
pause up.
If only our
All four
video
pause up.
worked well enough to get out there and talk to Armando about this big news today. Unfortunately, Billy cannot get out there. Let me just
Big week for Mondos.
Let me correct Mike Ryan here. While you can argue that Christian McCaffrey is not in his prime anymore and on the descent based on age, he is coming off of his finest season ever. Yards per carry, average rushing 1,500
So is Ayuk, by the way.
14 touchdowns.
I totally understand that. That's not my take. You're changing my take. I'm saying if you look at the lifespan of running backs, it's easy to argue the best days of Christian McCaffrey are behind him. He can have a better year than he had last year, but he might only have like 2 more years. That's a point that I'm trying to make is if you look at career lifespans, Ayuk's the talent there on their offense that is probably still ascending.
I agree with that. Not sexy, but Kyle Shanahan has said that Ayuk is the best blocking wide receiver he's ever seen.
Yeah, and Kittle is the best blocking tight end, and Trent Williams is the best blocking offensive tackle, and I do wonder how Ayuk will look away from all of that.
That is the secret sauce to the Shanahan system, dating back to the
Downfield
OG,
blocking,
where
yes.
zone blocking, downfield blocking, getting your wide receivers to buy in on that. That is how you get more out of your running game. So if you take an Ayuk out of that system, and we'll see who replaces them and what kind of blocker they would be, you're actually diminishing all those other talents.
I'm just saying, if you're Ayuk and you're going to make $14+ million, right? Wouldn't you rather stay with San Francisco? You have a chance at winning a Super Bowl. Your value is not going to go down in all likelihood and deal with it next year.
But I don't think that's an option that's available to him. I think his preference would be to stay in San Francisco if San Francisco showed him the money, but they can't. They're paying other guys. And they also have to have an eye towards what do we do with Brock Purdy, which is going to be a conversation that probably dominates the morning debate show news stream for a season and a half.
And I would just say to everyone listening beyond this, when you're talking about that level of excellence in a place as violent as football, the amount of confidence that Ayuk must have, he does not believe that his success is something that doesn't travel to wherever it is that he goes.
Sure.
Like, that is not, like, his confidence has to be so off the charts on I'm responsible for my excellence. It's not a product of system. It's not a product of coach. It's not a product of teammates. If I go to Pittsburgh, watch what I make Russell Wilson is the way someone like that would think.
Right. It's just, well, Mike, they tagged him, so he has to stay in San Francisco if indeed they don't trade him. So they did tag him. It's just, I'd stay in San Francisco because I don't think, and I understand what you guys are saying. He wants to take the best season he's ever had and parlay it into more money. This is the time to do it.
And also, he doesn't like this conversation that probably feels disrespectful to him about, what do you mean I'm not a number one receiver?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? I'm not a number one receiver.
I just had one of the iconic grabs in football history to get us into that Super Bowl. I can understand why he feels disrespected, but also I can also understand that he thinks that he can replicate that formula anywhere. Like Washington was in on this for a long time. Well, I get to rekindle chemistry that I had with my college quarterback and Jaden Daniels. That would have been an interesting spot. Reports are that they're out. I still think ultimately it's Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh has the money to make this happen. It's just the front office coming up to the table and actually meeting the asking price.
Him and Pickens, man.
Yeah. Cleveland's also interesting, like how they find the cap room and the draft capital to do this because they've been so behind the eight ball with the Deshaun Watson contract.
Such a bad deal.
It's the worst ever.
It is the worst deal ever. Lucy Rodin joins us right now from the wooden basement area, wood-on-wood decor of her father, literally, like the bloggers are always accused, from their father's basement. Lucy is joining us now because there is a lot of gymnastics to talk about and a lot of college football to talk about. Before we get to some funny and fun Big Ten video, can we just talk about Jim Harbaugh? A lot of Michigan people are mad at me for what it is that I said yesterday. I was just reading somebody's tweet on how great it is to look at Jim Harbaugh through the prism of ultimate Michigan man who never beats Ohio State and is afraid to play them during the pandemic year and then oversees a ton of cheating and then jumps from a burning building into the safety of Justin Herbert's arms. Your thoughts on everything going on with Harbaugh as he declares himself innocent of all charges again?
I respect it. I mean, hey, someone tweeted out the meme from The Dark Knight Rises where Bane's like, we need someone left at the wreckage, brother. And that was what Jim Harbaugh did. He left. Sharon Moore's taking the hit. Like, what are they going to do? He doesn't coach in college football anymore. There are no punishments for his actions. He might as well just go.
There are, though. There are some.
Not really.
Well,
not for him.
No, but there could be. Mike was pointing this out yesterday. The NFL one time did penalize Jim Tressel because this consortium that has a free minor league does pretend to be in business with college football, and they can punish him if they wanted to.
They're not going to do that.
Those days are over.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
Lucy, stay out of my lane. The line is, they expect all of us in the records, brother.
Are you enjoying the Harbaugh experience? Because I think we're going to have a year of, I don't know that we've had a coach that can run this publicly goofy in a while because he's now got the confidence of, I just ran college football. I might not be the best coach in my own family, but I'm better than most anybody else.
I think I'm going to enjoy it now that my favorite team isn't scheduled to play him every year. I think it's going to be fun just to see, like, his personality is so unique and interesting. Like, I don't want to compare it to Dan Campbell because they're very, very different personalities, but they're both very intense and weird in the way they're weird. And that has been so fun to watch. So I'm excited to see Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL, just kind of being his, like, weirdo, goofy self.
Lucy, so there was a lot of stuff in this like NCAA notice of allegations, which is what broke on Monday and led to the Harbaugh press conference. But there was also like there was a lot of maybe some like serious things in it, but then also like a lot of like silly like not NCAA nonsense, like a coach getting a level 2 violation for getting someone verified on Instagram. So how are we supposed to wade through some of this like silly NCAA stuff and figure out what is actually going on here with the Connor Stallion situation?
That's a great question. I don't know if the NCAA has an answer, so I don't know if I have an answer. They just take all of this stuff, and the NCAA is so notorious for things that are actually important and actually matter, not taking them seriously, and things like buying a recruit a cheeseburger, just making that the end of the world. I think what we're going to see happen is honestly kind of what has happened to Michigan the last, 2 seasons anyways, where we're going to see their head coach, just a different head coach this time, get suspended for a couple games. Because from what I saw, most of the level 2 infractions are related to Sharon Moore, and all the serious level 1 stuff is Harbaugh, who is gone, and Connor Stallions, who is obviously gone.
Can you guys walk me through this story and the credibility of this story from Athlon's, a magazine, an entity that I've been reading since childhood, but that doesn't really have... Steve Corder is the author of this article, but this is not a place where news generally breaks.
They're still at it, huh?
Not only are they still at it, this report, if it were in the mainstream, I think people would be feasting right now like piranha, because Deion Sanders, you will remember, garnered a whole lot of attention and a whole lot of people who are interested in seeing him win and interested in seeing him fail. And this report makes it feel like Colorado of 2024 is old Miami. It's guns and crazy and a recklessness in the locker room. What is the credibility of this report?
So Steve Corder spoke to former players from the University of Colorado, and they anonymously gave quotes. And one former player said, "It's like a real-life Grand Theft Auto video game. There are many distractions with fights, guns, money floating around. The environment is unlike anything I've come before." Inside the article, you'll see details of allegations of Shiloh Sanders bullying Cormani McClain and bloody fist fights over gambling debts, and really just a lack of true relationship with the head coach outside of a certain handpicked a couple of players, most notably his sons, and Travis Hunter, who is like a son to Deion.
It would make sense that the way that Deion Sanders is doing everything in the new Wild West of business in college football, that something like this would be so. But Lucy, what do I do with the credibility of this report? Because if this was being reported by ESPN, everybody would be talking about it.
And Dan, to your point, there are other people, like Jason Whitlock has spoken to former football players from that program on the record, not anonymously, and they've levied, not so, like, these are really headline-grabbing words that are being used here, but they haven't painted a very positive picture of the locker room culture in Colorado.
Not sure I want to hear from former players, though, because they have an axe to grind with Deion Sanders.
Or Jason Whitlock.
Yeah, but their axe to grind is the culture here and their treatment inside. Yes, it's very evident, but you want them to tough out what they have gone on the record to say is a bad culture just because you don't think it's as tough. And
I understand what Stugotz is doing. We do this all the time with bad messengers. Unfortunately, on these kinds of messages, there can only be bad messengers because there's punitive damage done if you do it while still inside the program.
Would you prefer the other side of the token where conventional sporting entities just really embrace the Colorado thing because it's a ratings bonanza? Because I don't think you're painting an accurate picture there either.
No, I'm fine with this. I'm just saying that Dan is questioning the credibility of this, and I'm saying it would be more credible if it were current players and not former.
I don't mean to question the credibility. Lucy, walk me through what I'm supposed to do in the new information age. What I'm saying is, so if this was an ESPN report, everybody would be talking about it today.
Yes, if it were an ESPN report. I haven't read Athlon Sports since I was a kid. Sorry, Dan. I haven't heard of this guy before. I think the word violent is a very dangerous word to throw around. The stuff that we've heard about Deion not talking to players and not having close relationships, I think that's all been pretty well documented before, especially The Athletic did such a great article a couple months back, just talking to players who were at Colorado before and then transferred when Deion got in. I felt like that was a really good story. When it comes to this is such dangerous territory that I don't really want to buy into it because I think the implications are really, really bad for Deion in Colorado if it's true, and I don't want to spread anything that might not be true.
I get that. That's
journalism. Guess who got a journalism major? Me.
I know it's
degree.
It's very responsible, but might not be true. This is why I'm asking. You said I was questioning the credibility. I guess I'm questioning because I'm just asking about it. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this kind of story when everyone is after Deion Sanders, and there is a misinformation age, and you do have to be careful about who's reporting what. But I do feel like it's unfair if someone's done the reporting of this, talked to former players. I do think it's unfair to dismiss the reporting just because he doesn't happen to work for ESPN.
What's working against him is that he's not working for ESPN, that he's working for Athlon Sports, that we haven't read this thing since we were kids, and they never reported anything. I
think it rings believable, and I think it would of any college football program that started off 3-0 and was the national darling and then went completely off the rails and lost 8 of their last 9 games. Something was happening in that program.
The bullying is not something.
The offensive line is what was happening, Greg.
This is not a normal. This is not a normal thing.
You know what I mean? If you start 3-0 and finish 4-8, that's not normal in football, and something was happening, and I think
she just told you what it was.
It's normal for Colorado.
She just told you what it was, though. Their line was too small. Their offensive line was much too small.
Okay, I'm suggesting there might have been other factors.
I know, but that's why Lucy's saying it's unfair and irresponsible to make the other factors. Hey, Deion can't control his black kids.
Yeah, but this isn't an anonymous Twitter account. This is a journalistic entity that you have given credibility because you have read it, and no one's really had anything to say about this company's credibility other than they're not ESPN. They've spoken to former players. I understand casting a fair amount of scrutiny here, but I think the light that we're shining on this is also a little bit unfair. This is not... I mean, you're giving us the avenue of this is either true or fiction. I imagine it's a little bit more complicated, and he goes out of his way to say this is a former player's perspective.
Knowing the journalist is an interesting one, and I think this is something that is changing now in the age of credibility. Lucy, just by virtue of her voice over a year here, is gaining credibility. This is a difficult thing.
It's not working for me.
This is a difficult thing, though, to manage because no one here knows this journalist, right? We don't know who Steve is.
I've never heard of Steve Quarter before. We should probably have him on to defend maybe the merits of this story. And Deion has done the public social media thing of hinting at other people's intent when it comes to these types of things. I mean, it's very obvious to anyone, and several media companies have covered the preferential treatment that he gives his 2 sons and Travis Hunter. There's a video out there circulating, hey, at the next level, you're not allowed to hit the quarterback. You don't hit Travis. You don't hit Shador. You don't hit them. I'm teaching you that. That's something that you do at the next level. That's how we do it here in Colorado.
We're 60 Minutes now. Huh?
Still going strong, Stugotz. 60 Minutes is still going strong.
We'll investigate this.
Okay. It is still a very reputable news source, 60 Minutes is.
If you say so.
This one is juicy, though. When you think of all you do know about the program, the idea of his son being able to bully people in the locker room with a power unlike anybody in the locker room, because he's not just the coach's son, but he's their best player, he's the quarterback, and a young kid. All of this is ripe for the dramatic tensions that Lucy says we shouldn't irresponsibly talk about.
And you should view it with scrutiny, but it may be circumstantial, but Cormani McClain transferred out of the program, and they use the transfer portal more than anybody, so there's a ton of roster turnover. Ample anonymous athletes to interview.
Look, you guys are not talking about the most important part of Colorado right now, and that's that they decided to open up the season with North Dakota State. North Dakota State. We're not going to be worrying about any of this in about a month.
You don't do that. You don't schedule
Don't
Dakota.
do that. Everyone learns the hard way. Do not do that.
Lucy, you're not talking about the other most important thing, which is the new Big Ten Maps video with the new West Coast schools added to it. What was your reaction when you saw it?
Hold on a second. Let's play it and delight her all over again with it. If we want,
I wish we had the music. I could sing the song, though.
Okay, go ahead and sing the song. Go ahead.
I want to live forever. I don't care. That's the only line I know.
Okay, so you can't sing the song.
Can you
but that's the only line that matters.
Can you learn the words and sing it, and that'll be like our intro music for our college football segment this fall?
Foot Girls?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that.
What do you like about this video? Why do you get this radiant delight around you?
It's just the best commercial. It's such a good commercial. When they announced that USC and UCLA were joining the Big Ten, my first thought was, what's going to happen to this commercial? We had a pretty big scandal in the Big Ten 2 years ago because they brought this commercial, they were using it again, and they changed the song. They changed the song that everybody knows and loves. And the band that sings this song, I don't know their name, but they really only have this song. So they tweet at me all the time because I love this commercial and I'm always tweeting about this commercial. And so when they said, hey, we're not changing the map commercial, we're adding to it, it was one of the best days of my life. I was nervous. I was nervous for a lot of reasons. One, I've made a lot of threats to the Big Ten Conference that I don't think I would have been able to uphold had they not brought this commercial back. I am just so excited because it's such a good commercial. Like, I can't tell you how it feels when you're watching your team lose by 30, which unfortunately my favorite team does a lot, and you're like, this is rock bottom, and they put this commercial on and you have hope again.
One of the best days of your life, Lucy.
Yeah, I love this. I love this commercial. It is such a good commercial. And all my Big Ten brethren out there will agree.
That's not possible. Okay,
it's absolutely possible.
All right. Has a commercial ever made it one of the best days of your life, Juju? Please put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. I don't think that's actually a possible thing. I don't think Jessica, you're disagreeing with this.
What if you're in the commercial and you make a lot of money off of it, or residuals? I know people that have bought houses off commercial money, Dan.
Fair enough. But Lucy, I don't see you anywhere in this commercial.
She should be in it. That's why she should sing the song.
My heart is in the commercial. My soul is in the commercial.
All right. Thank you for joining us from all that wood in a basement from your father's house.
The woodshed.
We appreciate it.
I want to live forever. I don't care.
A lot has changed over the years, audience. As you've been so kind in pointing out, my shirt size has changed over the years. Look, I started this show as a 19-year-old boy, and now I'm a 38-year-old dad. But along the way, one staple of my life has been Miller Lite, and those of you that have been listening to us know this. I've been a Miller Lite guy since day one. I've been pretty honest about that. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is the best thing about the original light beer Miller Lite? It sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. For me, it's the undebatable quality. It's great taste, and it's less filling. Whether you're out with your friends, at a game, at a bar, in the shower, Miller Lite delivers Miller time every time. You don't have to choose what's best about Miller Lite. It has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Dan Le Batard.
I heard that as a woman faking pain. I didn't think that sounded real. I really didn't, you know.
It was not fake. It was in no way fake.
Yeah.
You can spot a woman faking it?
Stugotz.
Yes, I can, Jess.
Expert.
I've been married 40 years.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Tim Waltz is younger than Brad Pitt.
What?
It's funny.
I mean, Brad Pitt's 50. He's my age, isn't he?
Young 50, though.
Isn't he 50? How old is Brad Pitt now?
Older than Tim Waltz.
He's like 60, Brad Pitt.
Mike.
Great mini facelift, by the way. If anyone knows where he got that done,
Good work.
let me know in like 10 years.
No.
Solid work.
Do you think most people know that Brad Pitt has a facelift? I don't
Yes.
think people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They know.
The
Everyone
big
knows.
6-0.
Yeah.
You think most people know that Brad Pitt is 60 years old and has a facelift? Because I'd never considered it until you guys just said it right now.
Did you see Bullet Train?
Yes, but you seem it. You
He
guys
looked younger than he did in Ocean's 11 in that movie.
put it on
well
the
known.
put it on the poll, Juju at Le Batard Show. Did you know that Brad Pitt had a facelift?
What'd you think of that movie? Bullet Train. What? I'm genuinely asking. What'd you think of it?
What'd you think?
It was big and fast and
It was
dumb and
nice, both fun, light movie.
enjoyable.
Bullet Train, yeah.
Bad Bunny.
and a rare action
Bunny
movie
was in it?
where he spends a lot of time fighting on a train and is a great assassin at the age of 60 because that's the age of all of our assassins these days.
Aaron Taylor Johnson was good in it, right?
I feel like you're leading the witness here.
I'm not. I'm just. I'd like
a really weird line of questioning.
The nice little cameo from Ryan Reynolds.
It is a fun, quick movie. Unlike most of the things in the Brad Pitt arsenal, it goes by very fast. It's very well done.
Very weird.
Hence the name.
Well, 7 wasn't fun.
What did you think of Michael Shannon's role in it?
I like Michael Shannon in anything that Michael Shannon he's
weird?
in.
I'm not. He made it weird. I was just asking a colleague, like, "Hey, right. I saw that movie. I saw Virtuosity yesterday. You have any opinions on that? It's not weird.
What'd you think?
But you're asking it weirdly.
With Mike.
No, I didn't.
I want Billy to get the Denzel Washington Virtuosity acceptance speech.
Oh, so good.
Mike
I was
Ryan's
thinking
been
about that
watching some
yesterday.
weird movies. Mike Ryan came in here the other day talking about Crimson Tide, one of the great submarine movies ever made.
Yeah, arguably.
Roy and I were talking about Beetlejuice this morning, getting our little makeup done.
Were you jealous
I never
that you
saw
weren't
it.
here yesterday? Oh, so you didn't. You and Tony. That nobody's seen Beetlejuice around here in a demo.
Better be careful. Don't say it one more time. What are your top 3 submarine movies?
Oh, wow.
Are there 3?
Hunt for Red October is absolutely one of them.
Crimson Tide is certainly in the...
I think that's gold medal.
Same.
There's U-571.
It's gonna be hard
there's
to come
down
by.
Periscope.
It's gonna
I
be
think there's
hard
a
to
Clark
come
Gable
by.
vehicle.
A bronze medalist is going to be tough here on sub movies.
Can a movie be a submarine movie and a shark movie?
Yes.
No. You have to choose one.
If there's shark attacks.
No. Wait a minute.
There's
No,
the
these are
USS
genres.
Indianapolis.
No.
Like that's a
The Nicolas Cage. Who's
that's a
Nicolas Cage
battleship
in that
movie
one?
and a shark movie.
No, wait a minute. You can't be both of those.
I'm
things.
with Dan.
These are two different genres.
How about workplace drama? Crimson Tide.
How is it that you're making them both? You do not have a movie that is both considered a submarine movie and a shark movie. You are either a shark movie or a submarine
I
movie.
didn't think that this movie exists. Billy's the one that asked the question.
Well, the Meg has a submarine and a shark that is killing people. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
But
but
the submarine's killing people too?
Well, no, the submarine is going down to kind of see the shark.
The star is the shark, though.
You know, if that counts, Titanic.
The Meg has to be a shark movie. It cannot be a submarine movie.
I'm just asking if it could be considered. I'm not throwing my hat in the ring for the Meg being a submarine movie.
No, the Meg is it's on the Google results for suspenseful submarine movies. The Meg and the Meg 2, The Trench.
Look, a Google result gave us an obese pole vaulter today because Greg Cody didn't
This
know it
one's
was
not AI.
artificial
They'll give you
intelligence.
anything.
No, I am not willing to accept because Google registers this as a submarine movie. I will not accept that a Jason Statham vehicle where he's the second star behind a shark is a submarine movie.
You guys have missed the biggest and first and original submarine movie, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
A classic.
What
And
about
a great ride.
The Life
James
Aquatic.
Byrne, 1954.
I don't think The Life Aquatic is a submarine movie. Does it qualify as a
It's
submarine
certainly
movie?
a submarine
Wait a
movie.
minute. So if you have a submarine in the movie, it's automatically a submarine movie?
Have you noticed? Well, no, because Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, formerly known as Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, if you've noticed, since it's shown up on streamers, they've dropped the Part 1. Oh, no. Alluding to the fact that there isn't going to be a Part 2 to that. The next one's just going to be a whole new movie. They talk about this sub. It opens with like a sub scene, but the next movie's around finding this sub, and it's why it's gone so far over budget. It's because, Tom Cruise doesn't half-ass anything. He's getting real subs.
What about submarine sandwich movies?
You know what I've noticed? I've been thinking a lot about subs, and it's not just because I saw Crimson Tide, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. There's a NASCAR advertisement on one of the cars that's like buildsubmarines.com. You know what? I'm going to check that website out for the first time because I wonder, is this like just for really affluent people to build their own private submarines? Or is this like
the submersible people?
Or is it a job placement thing? Like, hey, this can be I actually think, dude, there was like a really funny picture that is building submarines right now. Hang on. I'm going to make you laugh with this name. There's a funny picture. Oh, it was a guy from the Braves. Tip of my tongue.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that we've now got a submarine pitcher that is not someone who throws underhanded? He's just someone who
he's actually building submarines.
In my age, many years ago, I think it was Glenn Garber was an old timey submarine pitcher. You're telling me there's a Brave pitcher now? Strider.
No. I think he actually threw submarine balls. I'm gonna find this picture, dude. There was a pitcher that's building submarines.
We're talking sub movies: 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, 50 Shades Freed.
I just Googled buildsubmarines.com.
Really?
And it appears to be a fairly brilliant ad campaign for the United States Navy.
Oh. I love a good website name. I found this website called roadtripplaylist.com. Incredible. I just want to go. What should I play on a road trip? I don't know. Website will tell me.
That's a shortcut. I've been taking those with movies where there are a couple of people, I'm stuck in an algorithm. Every time I want a sleeper movie of some sort, I get the same, I get just great information off of somebody who's done all the work for me by just saying, hey, here are 10 movies that nobody knows about that you should watch.
Attaboy.
Boof Bonzer.
Boof. Yeah. He's building subs, huh?
Tell me more. Find me as much information about this as you can. Billy, I really do feel I'm finding myself, because you and I had a conversation both last night and this morning, I am finding myself wildly disappointed. I feel like today was one of the days that we built Meadowlark for, that you were going to end up at your alma mater as one of the proud and most famous alums, and you were going to be there when it was announced. I'm assuming this news is going viral all over the place, that Florida International University football, the Golden Panthers, up.
Just Panthers.
They're just the Panthers now. It used to be the Golden Panthers. We've removed the Golden.
Sun Blazers before that. Before the football.
That they are what, 9-33 ever since Mario Cristobal left. They are they're not very good.
I don't think that's an actual stat.
well, they're 9-33 in their last 41 games.
I know they were 30-24 in the game against UM.
Yes, they were. But we had a chance for you to be out there with Armando Pitbull as they broke what I'm assuming is viral news, that what used to be the Golden Panthers have a new stadium that is now sponsored by Pitbull. You could have been there talking to him, and instead we failed to do all of that.
The Bull.
Well, I will say this. Lucy mentioned earlier that today or yesterday was one of the greatest days of her life because the Big Ten commercial came back. And I feel like today is one of the greatest days of my life because two of the things that I care about the most, FIU and Pitbull, have merged, and now there's a partnership. And, we were trying to make things work, but unfortunately I have a job. So we're here today, and we're kind of trying to keep things on track. We have a number of guests. We have some moving parts. We have weekend observations. We have Greg Cody. I was thinking of back in my day. We have a gas bag of the week. We have a lot of things going on here. So things didn't quite align the way that we thought they would. Timing wasn't going to work out. But I will tell you this. And I can't say too much, but I don't think that this is going to be the last time that we may have the possibility of encountering Pitbull and FIU. That's all I'm going to say. Maybe news forthcoming on people maybe calling games or what have you, and maybe we'll have an opportunity down the road.
All right, that is cryptic, but I was kind of hoping that it would all come together today.
Billy, I was thinking, I doubt Pitbull took any one-on-one questions today or did any sort of long extended interviews, but I was thinking this is a really good starting off point for a longer partnership with Billy and Pitbull at FIU.
Yeah, you got to play it cool. Let me tell you guys a quick story, a quick aside here about a way that we one time we played things the wrong way, and this was with not ever friend of the show. We were hoping to make friend of the show Jose Canseco. And we long wanted Jose to be on the show. And then I found, this is when I was doing a lot of the booking, I found a tweet where Jose Canseco praised something that Dan said on the show. So he praised it. He said, Dan Le Batard is exactly right. I don't remember. If I were to guess, it was probably ripping Rob Manfred because I don't think that he likes him either. So Jose then said, Dan nailed this. He got the nail on the head. And I had a contact from when we were trying to negotiate sending me into the desert with Jose to see Bigfoot. I still had a contact there.
A great sentence.
So, yeah.
A truly special sentence.
That was very close to happening.
I know, you told me.
It fell apart because Jose kind of ghosted us, which is crazy because I heard the budget and they were offering him legitimate money to make this happen. And I remember sitting down and telling my wife, they're putting substantially more than I make in a year into this idea. I don't know that this is.
This was ESPN smart. Was willing to allow you to chase Bigfoot through the wilderness
Bigfoot.
With Jose.
Well, no, he knew where the Bigfoot were, so it wasn't chasing.
Was it Bigfoot and aliens?
No, this is just Bigfoot. But
Jose bailed.
Is it possible he's Bigfoot?
Well, I think that what happened is that it got too far. From what I understand, and we've told this story before, is there was a conference call with Jose's rep, but Jose was just in the background on the speakerphone and was participating in this call, and then the the stipulations that they had, which was like, well, you have to just get on Jose's RV with like 6 other people, and you can't have a camera person in there, and you can't really follow us because it's a secret location and all that. Like, that's when things started unraveling, because I think that a lot of the things were like, okay, well, we can work it around this way and we can work it around that way. And I talked to my wife.
You were
like,
making all the maneuvers
there
necessary.
There were many concessions being made, and I think that he was not prepared for that. But anyways,
I think Jose thought to himself, it never gets this far.
Exactly right. Exactly right. That's what I thought was going on. And it's like, oh boy, how do I get out of this one?
Well, you say that, but this is a skepticism that has always surrounded Bigfoot. I feel like we were really close.
Well, so anyways, the point is, like, I still had a contact from that adventure with Jose Canseco, and then when Jose Canseco supported Dan, I reached out to this contact. I'm like, Dan would love to talk to Jose Canseco tomorrow. And what happened is I got a confirmation. Jose will join tomorrow at like 11 a.m. And I got so excited, I tweeted it out. And then I told you guys, and then we spent the entire show saying, Jose's going to join, Jose's going to join. And then we were just talking about, like, how do we do? What do we do with Jose? What do we do? We have to ask him about this. We have to ask him about that. And then we spooked him, and they canceled 15 minutes before. So I feel like maybe that's what Jess is alluding to with Pitt, is like, we got to slow play this to kind of make the relationship. We had inroads with him once before when Mike dressed up as Pitbull, and then he retweeted Mike and he congratulated him or whatever. So, like, I feel like this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship between FIU and Pitbull, and then kind of we figure out our way in here.
You can't scare Pitbull. If you scare Pitbull, he may
bite.
That's what they're known for. So just be careful. Let's slow play this. Let's get Billy in the right places, talking to the right people.
Movers and shakers.
By week 3, week 4, Pitbull Stadium, Pitbull's
Maybe
in his
soon.
suite. I heard there may be a Pitbull anthem. Maybe Billy's a background dancer in the Pitbull anthem music video. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
A lot has changed over the years, audience. As you've been so kind in pointing out, my shirt size has changed over the years. Look, I started this show as a 19-year-old boy, and now I'm a 38-year-old dad. But along the way, one staple of my life has been Miller Lite, and those of you that have been listening to us know this. I've been a Miller Lite guy since day one. I've been pretty honest about that. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is the best thing about the original light beer Miller Lite? It sparked this debate way back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it. For me, it's the undebatable quality. It's great taste, and it's less filling. Whether you're out with your friends, at a game, at a bar, in the shower, Miller Lite delivers Miller time every time. You don't have to choose what's best about Miller Lite. It has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.